show them what you got.
Are you sharing your audio?
Already. Oh, good.
Oh, good. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 3 of Fatch GT's GT3 Season 6. We are at the Nurburgring today, the GP track, which is 5.1 kilometres long, 3.2 miles, 16 turns there, including the Michael Schumacher S and the Haug Hook right-hander. So Matt Williams comes into this race with 2 straight P1s, looking to be strong here in the wet. However, the Mustang, maybe not the greatest car here in the wet. Do you have any thoughts, Wilson? Oh yeah, of course, joined by Wilson. GJ today, Fatch
Yeah, that's
GT driver, first team driver. Any thoughts on today's race? What we might see, what might happen?
this might be interesting, seeing a couple of cars going on track with the wets for the first time of the season. A lot of people with new cars for this season. Williams, Sander Verstegen. So people trying to get used to their cars, and Mustang's in trouble. So it might have something to do with this Mustang domination stop.
Yeah, I think today could be a real big statement from. Well, he's made 2 big statements already, but could be his biggest statement of the season if he manages to continue his streak of wins. The Mustang, obviously not known for its wet weather durability, its ability to drive on track. So if he brings us home today, I hate to say it, but it could be sealed already. It could be done that early. It will just show everyone how unbeatable he might be this season. But there's lots of stories to unfold on track, lots of other battles happening. So we had some good battles at Silverstone last week, some tough and hard racing. We did have to disqualify a driver for 3 races due to some hefty driving. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the Mustang might have an advantage compared to the dries in terms of tire wear. Of course, wet tires don't wear as much as dries, so you might not have this critical phase at half an hour past the stint. So you might have a clean tire for the entire stint.
Yes,
I
so the
believe.
weatherman has told me it's going to be quite a consistent level of rain throughout, but if something was to change, then maybe that might not be the case, but it does look like if the drivers do get their pressures to an optimum point, they won't differ too much this session. Only 60 minutes today. I say only, it's still a long one to drive in the wet, but yeah, hopefully tyre wear not being an issue for anyone. It should just come down to raw pace over the course of 60 minutes.
Yeah, damp might be even worse than dries because you start sliding it way more. But I think wets with high TC makes the Mustang very safe and not tire obese eating
Yeah,
Mustang.
well, it is American.
Yeah,
Forgive me. Yeah, I think one to watch out for today will be Ide, the 555 BMW. BMW typically very good around Nurburgring. Uh, I think Ide's caught up, unfortunately, in an incident last week at Silverstone, but managed to work his way all the way back, I believe, to P4, showing very good pace. I think he'll get. I think this might be a huge opportunity for him today to score some really good points and put some pressure on Williams potentially.
and keen to watch Tomengo driving the Mustang for the first time. Um, might be a good race for him. Depends on how much he practiced in the last week.
Yeah,
And,
Tamenga obviously big news switching to the Mustang after seeing I think what they both could do at Silverstone last week. However, that does mean no qualifying for Tamenga. He will have to start at the back, and trying to get through traffic in the wet is no easy feat.
yeah, and especially overtaking might be complicated. Depends on how comfortable you are on traction. Straight down speed is no problem. Maybe cars will be a bit more planted to the track, so maybe more slipstream, more drag. And an advantage to the Mustang if the other cars are four wing, especially the McLarens.
Yeah, so we have Leisure currently sitting on P1, 4 temps up, so a good little benchmark for him in the Lamborghini. I believe he finished top 3 last week. Nice race, managed to stay out of trouble mostly, and come through and capitalise on some issues in front of him. So this could be another big day for him. Warner currently sitting in P3 behind Ide, who's 4 temps off in P2, and Pell, who had a very good race last week.
Williams didn't
P4.
set a time for the moment, so
Yeah,
we'll
he
have to
is
see
out
what
on
he does.
track. We'll go on board with Williams. Is that him up through the chicane there? I could not tell. Where is he?
It's towards the end of the lap.
I think that was an off-track potentially there before the left-hander. Very easy to hit track limits in the wet there. Once you get on the curb, you're kind of a passenger and have to slowly accelerate out of it. So we'll see. Yeah, I think this is an invalid lap.
Yeah,
He's only got 8 minutes to get a clean one.
To set a valid time. Starting from the back isn't going to be easy. There's not much long straights in this track, so overtaking opportunity are going to be tricky, especially if you struggle to come out of cones. So this is kind of critical for him to set even a P2 might be enough, to get a good start or follow the leader, but he slides quite a lot.
Big power slide, yeah. And does have some traffic ahead of him. One being Niels Baslia, about 4 seconds ahead. Probably shouldn't really be an issue. Should be able to get the rest of this lap done without dirty air or worrying about cars ahead. Do have a driver go off up ahead. Well, Baslia currently sitting in P6, getting used to that Aston Martin race by race. Has been looking very solid. Had really good pace towards the end of Watkins Glen and looked very comfortable at Silverstone. Be interesting to see what the Aston can do in the wet.
It's a very stable car in my opinion. I don't know. I didn't really drive the Aston Martin in the wet, so I can't really tell. But it's these kind of cars that shine in the wet like the BMW does. With stability, I think might be hard to find pace, but not hard to find consistency for sure.
So crucial.
So, like Ligier, he may be staying out of trouble and clinching a podium, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's always sensible in the wet to do. It is very valid. Williams does get through that final chicane very smoothly. This will be a valid lap for him. We'll see what the time is.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just a banker and wasn't really unleashing the beast, but we'll find out. Sticks it in the P4 with a 2015. See, Leisure has improved, and Ide is only... Ide and Powell almost identical times, less than half a tenth away from Ligier. So very close 1, 2, 3 at the minute, and I'm sure Williams will find a bit more pace now. He's just managed to complete his first clean lap. Van Voort sits in P5, 5 temps back. Warner 6 temps back in P6. So
Yeah.
just a second
He
between
is improving,
P1 and P7. Is that Matt? Is that Williams? Yeah, 3 temps.
Yeah, both Levi and Matthew are improving on this lap. Big improvement for Matt.
Rain is meant to lessen, but I don't think that will happen before the end of quali. But we could be getting some slight track evolution. I think it was slightly heavier
I think it'll
as
stay.
the session started.
Van was with quite a a good time. P5. 5 tenths off. The McLaren is it's shining with Pell and Van Vost in good positions.
So
Like I
Williams,
said, the Mustang's struggling for the moment. The two top guys from Silverstone, Williams and Levi, are nearly half a second off.
yeah, Williams had an issue up for the Schumacher S. Lost 3 attempts by the time he got up the hill, so he'll have to go again. Ide did slow, and he'll go again for another improvement.
DJ is already a tenth. A tenth up in turn 3.
Sturger's setting to improve his time by at least a second if he can nail the last corner. So this will be a big jump for him. Does nail the last corner and keeps gaining. So currently P15. That moves him up to P8. Kolmos also looking to do the same.
Ide
7
with a very
tenths up.
good lap time, yeah. Set to improve, yes. 1 tenth up
We'll stay on board with Ide.
with 2 seconds to go.
So for anyone out on track, currently at least, well, 2 laps left for them. So big moments. I think that was that a an off track for Ide there.
Yeah, I think it's
Time is
valid.
coming up red
Maybe
for
he
me,
went too
yeah.
wide. Turn 5.
But he'll know there's time there. 2 temps
Turn
up
4,
currently.
sorry.
See if Williams is improving. Ligia won't on this lap.
Van Vost with a crack lap 2:00.9, putting 2 tenths to Ligier. That's quite huge. That's pole position for the moment. 2 minutes left to go, so that's about a lap. Pearl, last lap for Pearl. Last lap, no, another lap for Van Vost, who is improving at the moment.
Yeah, at least half the drivers on track currently improving. So either they're just getting used to it, or there is indeed slight track evolution.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
Ligier with
reckon
2 laps left there.
the track might have been starting with a heavier rain that quickly lessened. So Bastley is even 2 temps up as well.
And yeah, it's over for Warner. He's in the pits. He won't have time to complete another lap, I'm afraid.
So that'll be P6 at best for Warner. Sturger going
James
better
Francis doing a qualifying lap. That's something to watch.
again.
He's usually chilling in the pit lane in qualifying. That's quite a surprise to see him around.
Lige looks to be matching his lap, although did lose a bit on the exit there. Judging not by the relative, cars finding a little bit more grip out of the corners.
Ligier is not improving for the moment. He will have another opportunity. But he's a 10th down with traffic ahead.
Same with Williams.
That's
Williams down
not
to
a good
P5 now, but we'll have one more to improve. I think, if he can get to the line in time.
Yeah, he's got a car up ahead. The 87 on Minderhood. Might be catching him towards the end of his final attempt.
Now, this is one to watch. Ide's currently 3 tenths up this lap.
Yeah, and it's having pretty smooth. Final sector. Oh, that's a bit. Yeah, manages a bit wide in the chicane.
It doesn't cost him too much. Manages to hold on. I thought that was going to be an
Very
off track
early
for
apex,
sure.
yeah.
2 temps gained for Ide. Let's see where this will put him. Up in the
And it's
P2.
P2 less than attempt from Van Vos, but Van Vos keeps the ball for the moment.
Is there anyone left on track that can challenge him? Ligier not improving.
Yeah, it's a 10 down, not too much. Maybe his last
Now
sectors were
Williams is
a bit
improving.
scruffy.
4 temps up currently. Just a few
DJ
corners
does have
left.
Boss here ahead. Might be trouble having traffic.
Williams has called it a day, so that's going to be a P6 for Williams.
That's
Our thoughts on the
huge.
Mustang are coming to fruition. Really
Yeah, as
not
predicted, the
liking
Mustang
wet.
is in trouble. Warner is only up to P7. Ooh, and it's a bit of gravel out of Schumacher SS for Ligier. I don't think this is going to be the lap. He's 5 tenths down. No, I think it's over. We'll have to wait for him to cross the line, but
I don't believe there'll be any more changes to that
there's
starting
still
order.
Sander Verstager with quite a really good lap, puts him to P5
Yeah, that's a mega lap.
with a 2:01.2. That's his best qualifying position, yeah.
Into the pits he comes, so that will be your final order for our 60 minutes at Nurburgring. It's Van Vorst taking pole, mega lap from Van Vorst in the 210. You will take pole in that McLaren, and I will
first
take
position
P2,
for him.
a tenth behind him. 2.5 tenths back in P3 is Ligier, followed by Pau and Verstager sneaking into P5. So the top 5 all within 3 tenths of each other, and then the current championship leader all the way down, looking up through the field in P6 with Warner P7. Mustangs struggling. Baz PW takes P8, followed by Niels Baslier and then Bosch Jan. That makes up your top 10. And to follow up, you'll have Minderhood, De Guel, Riches, Hussein, Bruce, Komos, Ladva, Robert, Niels, and Temengo obviously could not quali. And I cannot see down my leaderboard, but I'm going to assume that's Jay Francis behind him. Yep, as always. Does not like the quali.
Said he wouldn't take part in quali, and Ivorel also didn't set it up time, so Temenga is the first driver. Is on pole from the people who hasn't set lap times. I gotta say, quite disappointed of Baslier. The rain didn't quite favor the Aston Martin driver. 1.3 seconds. It's not the P9 that most worried about. It's a 1.3 second. It's quite a huge gap. He will be fighting with Minterhood, Boss, and as Warner is a bit further up the road, and yeah, I think there's a top 7, then down to top 13, 14, and then there will be the backpack with Temenga coming back through the field.
I mean, to be fair to Baslier, it has been a bit of a trend that he's been about that far back on the pole time each week. He is still learning the Aston Martin, and he does have a habit of, by the last 20 minutes, really finding the max out of the car. It just takes him a while to get going, unfortunately. But I would be very surprised if Baslier doesn't make at least some form of headway in this race. Yeah, well, if the trends continue, he certainly will. But we see what happens. Obviously, the differences of driving in the rain, Wilson, is these first opening laps, it's very good practicing with no traffic in front of you. But when you've got a pack of 10 cars in front of you, having to come to a sudden stop because they can't get around a corner, very treacherous in the wet. It's very hard to practice driving behind a car in the wet.
You'll need to try the outside line, people being very cautious, maybe. I'm going to want to believe that people are going to be cautious into turn 1. So maybe try a line around the outside, braking super late.
Yeah, you always get those that really underestimate how early they have to brake compared to in the dry, especially with cars going slower on the opening laps with the traffic. Yeah. So let's hope we get away scot-free in our first wet race of the season. So lots of colour on the grid today. Too much colour for my liking. I would prefer everything be grey and black and depressing. but unfortunately, it's not like that. We've got Al Warner in the Pink Panther machine. Has switched to the pink colours. I don't know why. Very disappointed in you, Warner.
Yeah,
Um,
boss with the usual piss livery.
the cat urine
Minderhood with
livery. Yeah.
McDonald.
Ronald
Uh,
McDonald's joined the lobby, is he?
yeah, Minderhood. Yeah, Ronald has changed his name. Maybe that's
He's undercover.
something. Yeah,
Or he's just
watch out
honouring our
for.
American brothers and their Daytona 24 success. That should be an interesting
And
one.
Nils having a Valentino Rossi kind of scheme car. You ran a GTWC livery before, and yeah, E4 with what the hell is that, my friend? Uh, Green doesn't go with the gold, especially the piss-colored boss. Yellow, it's a bit better, but it reminds me of a superior Aquaman, I think, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. I'm very bad at
Representing the DC heroes. Yeah. Aquaman indeed. So 1 minute 30 and the cars
yeah.
here will get underway on their crucial warm up. Get those brakes up to temperature, get those wet tyres up to where they need to be. Let's hope everyone's got all their PSIs calculated correctly.
Yeah, this is going to be important to get them right. Rain seems to be stable for the next 30 minutes, so
Yeah,
if you
damp
practice
track.
well,
So yeah, this could be interesting. There might be some late changes coming in here as people see that the
it
next
says
30
wet
minutes is
for me.
damp. It says
It says
it
wet.
says damp for me. So maybe I don't know
Yeah,
what it really is. ACC gods trying to throw a spanner in the work. But if that is
I think
damp,
it's wet.
yeah, this looks like there's
Uh,
too much rain on the screen to be just damp. But we'll see. If that is the case, either way, they've got 30 minutes to get in the pits with mandatory stop as always in our GT3 seasons. So 20 minutes in, pit window will open for 20 minutes. Mandatory stop before fuel and tyres. So the drivers will have to
it
keep an
is
eye on that radar.
it is damp for every other drivers for Basley's POV from Houston's POV.
So maybe it is damp
It
then.
is damp. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my
Okay. So it's very interesting what the drivers choose to do here. I wonder if anyone's not noticed that and hasn't adjusted. God, that Mustang of Warner is blinding. Not a fan of that.
You know what? I kind of like it. It's original.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Can I say?
Each day, yeah. But just it's 2025 now.
Final warning.
Can't judge too much. Okay, so Van Vorst will lead the pack out in the 210 McLaren. Very impressive to see this driver on pole. It looks steady, although I think something's happened to Van Vorst unless he's just deciding to go straight. Okay, I thought we had a wheel disconnect then. That was very scary. Looked to me like
Yep.
he's driving straight into a wall, but sorted whatever was going on out. Yep, so this could be a very interesting start. And if the BMW would have the traction off of the start line, McLaren can get a bit spinny in the rears. But yeah, good to see a new face up in the top three from qualifying.
Yeah, Ligier also, I think, not the top 3 in qualifying, at least. I think it's his first top 3. And,
Yeah, I think I remember he did. I don't think he took part in Watkins Glen. I think his first race was Silverstone.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had some really good performances last year. A couple of P1s. Surprised a lot of people, I think, after he switched back to the Ferrari. So we'll see what he can do today. I do like the way that Lamborghini looks in the wet. It does look quite stable, which surprises me.
Yeah, it's always a stable car, and in the wets it highlights that. I must say, Ide is now a subscriber to the P2. Uh, in qualifying, he was P2 at Watkins, uh, P2 in the race. No, Latva finished P2, but in qualifying, he's subscribed to P2. Chick X kind of genes.
He's my pick today for P1. I think. I think he's very stable, a stable driver. Rarely makes mistakes. And I wonder
I
if the
am rooting
pressure if
for
we hit
Van
the front.
Vost, though.
Oh, you always want to go for the underdog, but is he the underdog? He's
Yeah,
just hit P1 in qualifying. Can't be the underdog, but we'll see. As the
as
drivers go
cars are
side by
in
side.
double file now.
Yeah. So turn 1 here, always treacherous, and with the wet, can see even more fireworks. See if Ide can capitalise. As the cars come around the final corner, looking for that green light.
Right, boys, for the start, TC0, maximum traction.
Full send.
Green light, give it all you can.
And green,
And
green,
they were
green.
away. Van Voorst getting a good start, but so does Ligier, squeezing it on the inside already. Ide's at risk of being swallowed up here.
Around the outside, tries to hold on from the lead. Ide, I think, is going to sneak up these two and try to take the advantage.
Ligier going slightly wide, trying to cut back. Great traction from Ligier.
Ide is trying around the outside, better traction maybe in the BMW. He will have the inside for turn 5.
Not fully passed yet. Ligier.
With a big slide and a little tap.
He's
from
very
Ligier,
careful with his
it's
rejoin here. Does it well, not too dangerous, doesn't collect anyone fortunately. I think Williams has made some moves up the grid. Williams has gone up to P3. I think,
Yeah,
if my relative is correct.
Yeah, he's in P3, stayed out of trouble, got past Pell, and Ligier went off track. So
Was that contact or did he just lose the car? I know that there's part of the track he was on the outside there. Can get some aquaplaning.
it's both. He lost the rear, tapped the right hand side of Ide's car, and ran off track. So
That's gone back down to 6th place now for Ligier. Yeah, got some work to do. Got time.
Good start for Warner.
Has pulled a second gap almost. It's a good first lap for Vorst, whilst the gentleman behind him were battling. Williams looking, he's got the bit between the teeth.
The Mega already up to P16 after
Good
starting
start
from the back.
I think we've got away with that without any huge issues.
Yeah. This is a really clean start from everyone.
Bit wild through the chicane there for some.
I think Kormus is blocking at everyone. Oh, it's Robert, maybe. Made the hood, try sneak up on the inside. Big slide up the inside of Robert, big contact. Robert didn't see him coming.
Oh, I think Van Voorst is off. Van Voorst is off. I didn't see what happened there.
Oh no! Big slide like he did in the formation lap. He lost the lead. Now there's a bit kerfuffle, and that's Williams taking advantage of that. All that with Ide and Pearl in the hot pursuits, but I think Ide got blocked by Van Voorst's error.
I think there may have been contact between Ide and Van Voorst there. I see a bit of scraping on the front bumper of Ide.
I'm going to check the replay.
Thankfully, Van Voorst hasn't gone too far back. He's sitting P6. Still has got plenty to do. Pell has moved up to P3. Big shake-up at the front of the grid.
Oh, that's they tapped Van Voorst. I tapped Van Voorst at turn 3. Big tap. He was quite far ahead, but he completely missed his braking zone, his braking point, and spun Van Voorst around. That's
Van
going
Vos
to
will
be
have to get his head
penalty, I
down
think.
now
Yeah,
and try and maximise
completely
everything
missed
he's
his
got.
braking.
Not over for him. Yeah, it looked like a tap. I quickly saw it in the corner of my eye, the way he span.
And does have front damage. And yeah, Williams made the switch back to take the lead.
Robert has been caught out as well with the damage. You can see that front bonnet of his flapping a little bit in the wind.
Yep. The big hit with Minderhood at turn 1. Minderhood sending it.
Versterger finds himself up to P5. So a good start for Sturger, managing to stay out of trouble, maintain his position with all the shenanigans
Same
going
for
on ahead
Warner.
of him. Yeah, Warner always a strong start. That's Ivorel off with another, I think, who's he with? Niels. Niels and Ivorel off potentially together. Contact between those two. The wet weather just catching some people off. As Ligier looks to push Van Voorst. I think they're better off working together here. I think they've got pace potentially on the cars in front. Won't want to lose too much time.
Yeah, he was fighting with Niels, Ivorel.
Yeah, Niels and Ivorel
Yeah.
coming together. That's Hussein off the track, but regains his composure to get going again.
Driver error from Ivorel, who spun Niels as well. He was on the AstroTurf at the outside of the entry of turn 3, and unfortunately lost the car and hit Niels in the process.
Warner really pushing Empower at the minute. Puts his nose up on the outside. That's going to be a very brave move to try and pass on the outside in the wet.
It's never going to work.
I think that's one of those corners where you just say, nah, not here. Even in the dry, it's hard enough to do.
Yeah. I think it's easier in the wet as you're going slower, I think.
I'm now really pressuring Williams as well. Williams not getting away.
Yeah, has more pace. Remember from qualifying, I think the Mustang still struggles. It isn't just a case of Williams having the bug qualifying, it's just the Mustang and Williams doesn't have the pace that Ide has.
If you were Ide right now, what would you do? Would you start trying to make the moves on Williams, sniffing around, or would you just wait a little while for this gap to build to the rest of the cars? Because they built a 2-second gap to Pal in P3 already. Are they better off keeping the status quo?
I think when you start looking in your mirrors, you don't look ahead and you go off track into the wall. So it's always ahead that you should be looking. You need to boost the most pressure that you can on Williams. The pace is a bit sketchy. The car seems to be difficult to control. So you need to force him into a mistake, fake a dive, or put as much pressure as you can to force him into a mistake and sweep by.
I'd get in the much tinier entries into the corners.
He's going to try to cut back, have a better exit.
Bit of curb there for him. That will affect his launch.
Yeah, I don't think he does that every lap. He did that in qualifying as well. I don't think it's very good for the traction to go on the Astro like that.
Very close into the final corner.
Side the exit from the both of them.
I think Mustang is the one car though where slipstream just doesn't exist. So
he tries to break the toe, but it's launchable. It's launchable. He thinks better of it. But it's what I'm talking about. Forcing him into a mistake, thinking that you will dive, and try to get the better exit as he wants right. Maybe braking in the wet is very difficult as the conditions are always changing. You can't really find a perfect breaking point. So sometimes you may miss it. That's what I needs to capitalize on for the moment.
Meanwhile, Baslia has moved up to P9, has overtaken the cat urine car of Bosch-Yan. Next ahead for him is Baz, 1 second up the road, but a gap is forming between Baz and Ligier, so Baslia, if he does have the pace, will want to dispatch Baz as quick as possible to limit the damage ahead of him. Cork, I think, has also had an issue. It's dropped down to P22 now. Warner still pressuring Pell, but unable to find a way through.
And James Francis quietly going through the field
Good man.
as everyone crashes, it seems.
Obviously watching the Mustangs
Temanga
at
to be
Daytona at the
Virgin.
weekend. It's got the inspiration. Van Voor's still there. Versterger isn't too far away from Warner. He's holding on, showing very good pace in the wet. But obviously I remember racing with Versterger last year in the Nordschleife 24 hours. Had good pace there in the wet. I know he's very handy in these conditions.
The McLaren is a bit more tricky to handle in the rain.
Oh, we got a spin. I'm not sure. Was that Versterger? I think that's Versterger off.
Not the
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Verstappen is round.
I'm not sure if he took a bit too much curb on the left. I think that's. I think we're having a server crash. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think we've just lost some drivers. Let's just double check.
Not
No,
everyone
we're
is
okay.
here.
We're okay.
Ligier sending in
Saw
up the
someone
inside
disappear then.
of Van Voorst.
Can you go back and check what happened with the Versterger to see if it was
Fighting back
driver
around
error?
the outside. This is a very good battle.
Contact there.
Ooh, Van Voorst trying to hold on a bit
Ligier
too tight.
did have the inside.
Ligier.
Yeah, I
Ligier
think
is flashing
Ligier
its light. I don't know what
feel
happened.
hard done there by Ligier. Was as tight on the inside line as he could be.
Both cars are
flashing.
flashing.
Yeah. Van Voorst will obviously feel hard done by what happened earlier. He won't want to yield. I think that was a Van Voorst error. But the story is not over. Really curious to see what happened with the Versterger. I think maybe he's clattered the curb a bit and span on the outside curb after that last chicane. It is quite a common occurrence. Warner still pushing Pell, 0.3. Iden Williams starting to extend the gap out in front. Still close between those two. Warner doing everything he can. I think, does he get his nose on the inside? No, not quite. Powell going very wide in the turn one though. This might give Warner the exit.
Alongside, let the power of the Mustang talk.
I think Warner gets the move done. Obviously Mustang, very good brakes. Yep, good move there for Warner. Gave it full beans up into the last chicane to stay as close as possible into turn one. Powell's not going to let him get away too easily. Let's check back in with the race leaders. So Williams has extended the gap a little bit.
Touching the grass. Yeah, Ide is starting to fall back. Williams trying to find his pace.
It's crazy to see really the Mustang struggling in qualifying, but during the race, just that the pressure it can put in with the sheer power in that car is quite something to deal with.
I saw Williams qualifying a bit sketchy, going wide. not finding the right braking point, so maybe he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable in the Mustang, and it's enough to put Ide into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, looking a lot more comfortable now, Williams. 1.2 the gap, so it's gained even more this lap. Looks to be coming into it. Pit window is set to open in about 3 laps' time. Williams with the fastest lap of the session.
We have
Bastia.
quite good few scraps up the field. We've got Williams and Ide starting to fall back a bit, but we have the Warner and Pearl battle. We have Ligier and Van Vos battling. We have Bastia and Boss still very close, catching Baz. Verstappen and Tamenga are very close now, as
Yeah, from
Verstappen got out of spin a
P10
couple of laps
downwards, it's all
ago.
quite close. We've got Minderhood and Hussein fighting. It's about a second or less between all the cars, really, from P10 down. Yeah, still plenty to race for. 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of little packs. I think the only driver that's out of a battle at the minute is the 666 of Colmos on his own in a little gap. Otherwise, there's everyone's got someone to fight.
Yeah,
Boss doing a good job of holding on to Baslia as they still continue to chase Baz. The gap is still around the same as what it was when we last checked in, 4 seconds.
yeah, Bastia a bit wide.
Oh yeah, lots of pressure going on there. Let's find that battle. It's definitely a skill. Oh, Boss looks for the inside.
We're talking about these braking points. They're very crucial. Not run wide and not try to make a corner that you can't. Sometimes you have to run wide to get a better exit, rather than trying to hit the apex and going to the gravel. Very defensive for Bastia. Boss is all around him, or a bit of track.
Yeah, very easy to compromise your run on that right-hand curb. Basili will be able to breathe for a second. I think Baz has had a problem. The gap was 4 seconds. It's now 2 seconds whilst these two behind him are battling. It's a little issue for Baz.
I think a lot of people have temperatures problems. We can see going offline into the straight. I think some people are starting to overheat their tires.
That's a great
Temperatures are dropping.
performance from Tamenga, Wilson. He's up to P11 and he's chasing down Versterga right now, looking to try and get the move done.
Switch back, try to cut back underneath, carry a bit more speed, having a wider line, trying to cut back. The Mustang is very hard to do.
Not even a third of the way through the race, and he's almost done. He's done half the field.
The chase is on.
In the green machine.
With Boss sending it up the inside of Bastia with a lot of contact. Boss letting Bastia back through. Ligier overtook Van Voorst and took already a 1.8 second gap. As I is not.
I think something might have happened with Van Voorst. Yeah, because that gap was not that big a second ago. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Well, meanwhile, Pal isn't letting Warner get away scot-free. It's been keeping the gap at about 0.8. Let's check back in with the leaders again. 1 second, so Williams not being able to break away. I'd staying right there with it.
I can see again touch the AstroTurf on the outside of turn 2 and spun around. It's not an overtake from Ligier, it's an error from Van Voorst. The second time this race. Not his fault for the first time, but it's all downhill from here for Van Vos. That's a shame. Big damage from Minderhoden on the front.
Yeah, I did see a yellow flag pop up. I imagine that's what it was. Rutsch's attempts to chase down the Mustang of Ladva.
And Baz pulling away with this Basilion boss scrap, and Tamenga coming back very strong on these two. He's now chasing P8 basically. With Basilion boss being fighting this position.
And at this race, I don't see why Tamenga can't at least make maybe P7 at this pace.
Maybe with Van Vos making a couple more mistakes, P6?
Yeah, there's lots of fighting still to be done. Absolute maximum, you would say, possibly, yeah, P6, maybe P5.
Yeah,
absolute
yeah, I would
maximum.
say P6.
Powell closing back in on Warner, so Warner unable to make the most of that pass. Powell looking very capable in the McLaren. And Ide is also still maintaining that 1 second gap as the pit window opens.
20 minutes to make the pit stop. Undercut, overcut. Maybe people with overheating tires may adjust their pressures into the pits quickly.
Yeah, it really depends, doesn't it, on what the setups they went out with. See what the weather is saying. Still a constant level of rain, so no track evolution, you would say. And with if they do have perfect tyres, then you're not going to really want to undercut, because you're going to have a whole lap to get those wets back up to where they need to be.
Basilion to the pits.
He's going for it. So yeah, maybe Basilion not getting those pressures spot on.
Yeah, he was going offline into the pit straight, trying to get less temperature, less pressures into the tires. He is the only one diving into the pits.
Tamenga makes the move on Boss. Baz 3.5 seconds up the road. Tamenga is flying.
And Tamenga might jump past you in the process. Don't go too wide, son. As he's so 30 years older than me. And yeah, Ide and Williams are still battling into the distance, a short distance, but they are exchanging a few tenths between 1.2 seconds and 8 tenths. Ide is fighting back and not letting this win go so easily.
I tell you what, that Ferrari looks menacing in the wet here. Boss gets very close into the corners. It looks like to have great turning speed in the wet over the Mustang.
Do you know what? You might find me crazy, but there's actually a little secret to this Ferrari. You do run high TC in the dry, but I found, don't know which track, but TC1 works a lot with the Ferrari for some reason, because TC
Is that
doesn't
just to
kick
get the
in,
extra
and
rotation?
it's just, no, it's not TC2, it's TC1 that you put into position 1. First gear is so long that you don't get any wheel spin coming out of corners. So I tried TC0, but it's a bit too sketchy when you get on curbs, but TC1 just gives you that little security when you get on the curbs and kicks in at the right time and allows you to get back on the power without engaging the TC, and that's very important in the wet. It's very annoying to have like the engine going back and forth into the revs, compromising the traction. And TC1 works well for some reason. I tried it at Austria. You can see out of turn 1 it's quite a big traction going on the sausage on the outside, but it works. And you don't have that much tide on AstroTurf that you don't touch anyway, so
Oh, there you go. A
I
little
don't
tip there
think
for
if people
all you Ferrari drivers. Keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone. All right.
try it in practice before jumping into a race, try to see
See
one
everyone
and
right off their cars at the next wet race.
sending me death threats because I told you that TC1 works and it actually doesn't. It worked in Austria for me. It might not work for you. Try it. Practice makes perfect, lads.
Meanwhile, Baz going very strong in P7. Look at the chase down.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
as I say that, big spin into
in
a
the
wall.
wall!
That is
Why did
commentator's
you talk?
curse.
Coming back across the track,
He's
nearly
got
avoiding
the brakes held, but
us.
that could be a toe there. That is a horrendous crash. A fantastic power slide though. But that is
Fantastic, horrendous.
huge
Choose your
damage.
words.
Well, the power slide, the correction of the car on the track, the 180 was gave me feelings in my nether regions, but that's huge damage for Baz. I was just about to say he was going so strong. Van Vos may have had that one lap pace over him, but Baz was not making any mistakes. Look at this front of that Ferrari now. That's going to be a dive into the pits. That's such a shame.
That's a lesson for all of the drivers out here. Don't touch the green part on the outside of curbs. They are not too friendly in the wets. As Mario tries to take the advantage on Latva into the pit straight. Oh, the power of the Mustang just doesn't get equaled as Van Vos is in the pits. Warner is in the pits.
Yeah. Warner, now we don't know how he did it, but at Silverstone gained at least 4 seconds on everyone else during his pit stop. So let's see if he works his magic again.
A little cheat, maybe.
You never know.
Latva and
I have spoken to Warner since there. He has no idea how it happened, but it did.
Yeah, I talked to Williams as well. Sorry, Latva is in the wall. Collision with Mario Bridges on the straight between the 4 and 5.
That's huge damage.
That's huge damage, yeah.
That'll probably be a toe.
Need plastic surgery. Yeah, that's pretty much the race over.
Yeah, he'll need to tow that. He doesn't want to though. Our car's coming. Warner might get stuck behind now, as Warner is out of the pits. And behind Latva now. Latva going off the... Oh! He's wrestling with that Mustang.
Yeah. Warner has quite a good gap in front. He has about 6 seconds on James Francis. So he has clear track till the next guys make their pit stop.
Yeah, we're
maybe an
still
undercut
with
working
Warner now because Pal has come in. Pal is in the pits, so we'll see. I think the gap was about a second still, so we'll see what Warner's managed to do.
Williams does make a couple of mistakes here. Allowing Hyde to stay in the back, as now they are really close now. 2 mistakes in a row from Williams in turn 3 and turn 6. Maybe an undercut from Hyde. Or try to stick with Williams, stick to his base and put him under pressure, I think. I don't know how sure he is about his pace. That depends on him.
Oh, Warner and Pal are going to be close. Pal's going to jump him.
I think he's a bit wide. Pal is a bit wide. Warner as well.
But Pal's going to have these cold tyres now, so Warner will want to get this move done as soon as possible. I think Baslia may have jumped someone because he's now running behind Van Vorst. That would have been Baz, wouldn't it? Yeah, Baz, and that huge incident for him.
Very unfortunate. He was having a very good race in P7.
Yeah, just seeing him come out of the pits with a 3.
Stop go penalty for the 63
That's
of
Jay Francis.
James Francis, I'm afraid, speeding into pit lane.
That is Tamenga now going
Williams
into
is
the
in the pits.
Yeah, Tamenga follows. And yeah, I'd staying out, so we'll see what he chooses to do. I think I'd made the right call here to stay out and not follow him in. Nothing but clear track ahead.
That means he's confident in his pace, and I think he should be, because he was ahead in qualifying. So you need to be in that qualifying mindset and try to put a crack lap, maybe stay out 2 more laps.
Yeah, 2 laps I
as
would
Williams
say.
tires won't be up to temperatures yet, as he's a bit wide into turn 8.
You have to start counting your fingers then.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking on my fingers.
Yeah, I think I stays out for another lap and then boxes to maximise
I would stay
this.
for 2 to really try to put a comfortable gap coming out of the pits, because you don't want to be too close fighting with Williams with cold tires. You want that bit of security, but 3 laps is too much, because Williams will have good tires and will catch back with new tires. That's my opinion.
Jumps into the pits. He doesn't choose to do that. He chooses to come straight in. Looks to have nailed the pit stop there. Looked close. As Niels leaves the pits.
Seems good.
So, Tamenga now only 2 seconds off of Van Vorst. Sturger's ahead. So has Verstappen gained positions there? He did, because Verstappen got passed by Baslia and Van Vorst. Well, Van Vorst has lost positions, but I swear Verstappen was behind Baslia at some point after a spin. I'm wondering what has happened.
Williams is coming in the final chicane.
Lava spins around again. He hasn't repaired that damage yet. He's very close to getting black flagged, I think.
He repaired it, but I think he spun again.
Once I forget. Pal is off. Big damage for Pal.
As you want to watch.
Can you check that on the replay? Check Pal if you can, because Warner's sped away, so I'm not sure if there was something that's happened there.
Oh, contact between Robert and Williams, and I take the lead with quite a comfortable advantage, with Williams still fighting Robert round.
Oh no!
Nearly a spin. That's a spin for Williams.
No, I don't know what.
The race leader, the former race leader, is round, and yeah, again run on the grass. Warner gets past. That's huge for Hyde, and Liché is past.
And here comes Pal.
Is through, but with big damage. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Everyone going
for
off.
The British driver. Minderhood had too much
Absolute
pressure from
carnage.
Yeah, this is mental rain.
Ah, wowzers. If you can, Wilson, go back and check on Pal and see what happened to Pal.
It will do. Pal car number.
It was just after the chicane, up into the last corner. So this is going to play into Tamenga's hands as well. All this carnage in front of him. This will move Warner up into net P2.
Too much power. Ooh, he got maybe a little push from Warner.
Yeah, Warner likes to
I
go
gotta check the replay.
very quick through that chicane. I've
No,
noticed it.
no contact. Pell just lost it on the outside of the chicane, on the
Oh,
exit.
wow.
He
So
was a bit out of
self-inflicted.
line. Took the cab and tried to get back on the power as soon as he
So
could.
Warner doing exactly
But
what he
got a
needs
bit
to
greedy.
then. Up into P2.
Yeah.
Drive through penalty
Drive through for Niels.
Niels, yeah, that's unfortunate. Ladva back out on track with a brand new Mustang.
And with Robert trying to catch a bit of publicity, not doing a pit stop in P2 now. As Warner is hunting it down.
Yeah, Warner would be hoping that Robert gets that pit done.
The Manga with the fastest lap of the race. That's very good from the Dutch driver. 2:03.6.
It's going to be another busy week for the stewards, I fear. Yeah, Tamiga right on the back of Van Vorst now.
It's not 2:03.6 isn't the fastest lap, but the Manga has it as he hunts down Van Vorst for P8. That's a strong race for Tamenga at the moment. 25 minutes left. And he has Verstager not far ahead. With Pell having damage.
See what that Mustang can do out of turn 1.
A big front end damage for Pell, so the Manga might be catching Pell for P6.
Yeah, a lot of top end issues now for
Manga
Powell, you can see on the
switch back on
relative.
Van Vorst. Wider line, tried to cut back through turn 2. Doesn't get a really good exit. Ligier responding to Tamenga with the fastest lap of this race.
The race of two halves, as they say at the minute.
Yeah, and Williams starting back from where he started. So this race is really divided into half for him. He has to do it all over again, but now the gaps are much wider.
Williams looks to be
And
on a
people
quick lap
are much
himself.
further apart. So he's going to be harder for Williams to come back through the field. And he's not faster than Ligier at the moment. Because he's the fastest man on track. Lovely three-way fight between Verstappen and P7 Van Vorst.
So
P8
Ligier's
and
now
Tamenga,
being held up by
P9.
Robert. Williams is coming back at him here, and Williams is up on his last lap, at his fastest
Yeah.
lap. So Ligier does dispatch Robert. Robert's can potentially miss his pit stop here and get a penalty.
Passes.
Oh, he's in the
No,
pits.
he's in the pits.
He's in the pits. That's all right then.
Fastest lap from Matt Williams. Responding to Ligier. Niels also has to make a pit stop, but I think it will come in at the end of this lap.
Yeah, Ligier starting to take time out of Warner. 3 seconds up the road now.
He will try to hold on to P2, but Ligier is coming back, as Williams is also coming back, and Hyde needs to win. He's in a comfortable position. He has no right to do a single mistake in this race. He has absolutely no pressure. He's been one of the top guys all weekend long. He needs to win this race.
Yeah, and with his competitor Williams seemingly out of the big points, very close between Temenga and Van Voorst.
Again, for Van Voorst, yeah.
Van Voorst does really well to hold the inside there.
Oh, that's a big slide for Temenga. No AstroTurf. Baz paid the price of it. Many people like Ivora Van Voorst paid the price of it as well. Can't be too greedy on these curbs. Oh, big slide for Verstappen. It's out of shape. Van Voorst goes through up the inside. Temenga tries to get a better exit. Side by side. Into the back straight. And Temenga. Ooh, Temenga is through. Big balls through the right kink. Trying to go at Van Voorst again into the chicane.
Between those
Thinks
down
very of
roads.
it, trying to cut back. He's very close at good position for the main straight. As we're actually trying to win this fight. Side by side.
A Mustang flying down the outside of the
Will
track.
Van Voorst dive?
Oh!
A bit wide for Temenga, I think. He comes back. Oh, they touch. That's not enough to put Temenga around. And he's through up to P6.
Onwards to power. This could be up
That
to
is huge for
P5.
Temenga.
for
And
Temenga.
Bell is not far off the road.
So Williams currently 3/10 a lap quicker than Ligier, as Bruce has a little spin. So Williams could repair some of this damage. I think he's quicker than Ligier. He's quicker than Warner. Could
Would it be
salvage
enough,
P2
though?
from this. Yeah, 18 minutes left, and getting around a driver is a different story. Ligier starting to reel in Warner. So we're going to have a three-way fight here for P2 very shortly.
Yeah, Ligier is coming back strong on Warner. I'm very impressed with Temenga on his new car.
Yeah, his work you would feel is not done yet. One more to gain for Temenga potentially.
I think it's going to be a disqualification for Niels. He didn't make his pit stop. I think he got messed up with the drive-through, the stop and go, and
Yeah.
damage possibly. So that's unfortunate, or maybe just a bug from our graphic design.
Let's have a look. Now the same thing is showing on mine, so yeah, that will be penalty for Niels come the end of the race.
Now Boss is coming back on Verstappen and Van Voorst.
So a second between them, between Warner, Ligier and Williams, a second each. As this battle starts to heat up, Warner will feel the pressure behind him. .8 now, the gap between Temenga as he pushes for P5. Power with that front end damage. That Mustang should fly past him on the straight, you would feel. I think Temenga just be patient here. Don't force anything.
Yep.
Wait for that final call and get corner, get the exit and go.
And
How
Ligier
very
is very
compromised.
close to Warner. I think he's going to have an opportunity in the main straight.
Stay on board with Temenga here.
side by side into the back straight.
Powell defended very aggressively. Yeah, Tamenga not liking that.
Not quite yet, not quite side by side, but oh, Menga
Take
doesn't
your
like it.
time, Tamenga.
Menga is very impatient, and Van Vos is coming back.
Tamenga should breeze by him here. I think Powell's top end severely compromised.
But Pell is very defensive. I have to track your attention to the Ligier Warner fight, plus Williams coming back.
Yeah, so here we go in the battle for P2.
Warner is already defending on Ligier. That's allowed Williams to come back. We have battles everywhere. We have the battle for P6 now.
I tell you what, now with
Battle for
Tamenga
P2.
looking very quick and passing P6, he's now got clean air all the way through to Williams. Now, if these boys start getting scrappy with 14 minutes left, there's nothing to say Tamenga can't get close. So it is a big gap, but you never know.
If they start fighting very hard, especially if your freeway fights get very spicy.
Yeah,
They lose
Warner known
even more
for, not
time.
for his defensive drive, and he won't want to give anything away for free.
Yeah, especially Warner. It's a good exit. Oh, Warner is out of shape. Ligier finding the slipstream. Not quite close, maybe try to sneak up the outside. It's Williams.
Williams
He's
will get a
trying
good
to pick
exit here, I think.
the pieces of.
Has to lift slightly there to avoid contact
Yeah,
of
he's out.
Ligier.
He has a water line through turn 2. Yeah, he's preparing his overtake. Williams is preparing an overtake.
Whilst this has been
enough, I think.
happening, Temenga's already gained a second.
Yeah, this is quite something. Ligier is all over Warner, who had a big slide coming out of turn 4. Williams trying different lines to get out of Ligier's way. Try to find a way past him. It's a lovely fight, freeway fight. Another second, 1.3 seconds for Tamenga again in just one sector. You can see how much time you can gain by people fighting ahead of you. Warner again defensive.
Oh, I think Williams managed to get his nose almost up the inside of Ligier there.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
an
yeah,
audacious move there.
Yeah, that's not a move that he should do. I think he just got too happy
Yeah.
with the space he got, and it Ligier big time. That means the manga is closer, even closer from Ligier. But I think it secured Warner a bit of space.
Yep, so I imagine that'll be another incident report. And that most likely,
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
not-
judging on what we saw there, be a time penalty for Williams.
And Tamenga might pick up the pieces of that because he's not that far ahead, so 10-second penalty, maybe.
Ligier losing.
Yeah,
6
with
seconds
real
there.
damage. Yeah, only 3 seconds now between Ligier and Tamenga. Zvantos is not that far behind. He's only 1.9 seconds of Tamenga. A very good pace from Van Vos, as he was the race leader at the start, and did a couple of mistakes, maybe shook his confidence off, but he still manages to secure P6 at least for the moment. 11 minutes to go in this race, and still a lot to play for. Temenge coming back towards Ligier. 1 and Williams not over for P2. Boss and Van Vost also very close. With Pell losing a lot of positions. Verstager now is in the hunt. Baslier is, I'm afraid, too far behind.
Yeah, so Bassi may have run into an incident there. Actually, does look quite far back down in P10.
Yeah.
So something happened there, I believe. Whilst all this has been happening, Ides managed to steam off into the distance of an 18-second gap to P2, so that'll be the race secured for Ides as long as he keeps it on the black stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't have the right to lose this victory. Williams very close from Warner, chasing very rapidly.
Almost 2 seconds quicker that lap, Williams.
Warner sliding a lot, like he likes to do. Williams already flashing. People are starting to get further apart as the race comes to an end. 8 minutes left. There's only Verstager and Pell fighting now for P7. Pell having quite a bit of damage. Verstager is trying to pick pieces of that. As Mendehout is off track. In the grass. If Williams gets a good run, he will have a shot. Not too much curb, Warner, not too much curb. Yeah, it's a good exit for Williams. He has a shot in the main straight for P2. In the slipstream. Warner blocking the inside, Williams trying the outside. Side by side into the braking zone. Warner holding on the inside. A little contact, that's not too bad. Williams still there on the inside. Yeah, argy-bargy there. Warner trying to hold on around the outside. Williams is going to force him on the curb. As the line a bit too deep, I think, for Williams. Yeah, I think Warner is going to try to cut back. Very close, a little tap on Sutherland Williams' car. But the move is done. Williams up to P2. Nice move from the championship leader. Secure P2 again before penalties. Because there is going to be a penalty with Ligier's contact.
Most you would assume there would be. I think Warner now really he won't want to let this go, but at the same time he needs to think of the bigger picture here. Ligier 6 seconds behind.
At the same time, I don't think Warner has the pace to hold on to Williams. But it's nice to put him under a bit of pressure to make him lose time. As he will get the penalty, but I don't think Warner is going to lead by 10 seconds in 6 minutes. Now Perl and Versager are fighting quite a lot. Warner comes back. He's not letting this go, but
I told you
that's
he won't want to let
exactly
it
what he
go.
should do. That's exactly what he should do. Make Williams lose time. And you see, you put Williams out of shape, and you get a better exit out of the last corner. He is in slipstream range. He's very close. Mustang against Mustang, so no advantages there for both of them. He will try to stand in maybe on the inside. Thinks better of it. A bit too deep from Williams. Williams is a bit deep. Side by side, it's turn two.
We'll
One
have to
picking
switch
on
back.
the wider line.
Well held
Little
there by
slide tap the
Williams.
curb. But it's Williams can't go away. Warner is like a little bug trying
Got
to get the most blood.
3 more laps remaining. See if there's any more drama in this drama-filled race.
Yeah, Boss, Verstager and Pearl fighting.
Yeah, Pal will be doing everything he can
47.
to hold on with that damage.
Quite a good race from Boss. He stayed consistent and managed to secure a good result for the moment. He's now looking for P7 because Pearl isn't far ahead with big damage, so a mistake is not too far from him. What will be his strategy? Put pressure on Verstager or let Verstager put pressure on Pearl? I think he chose the former. Side by side into the chicane. Big bomb from Pearl. The McLaren doesn't like bumps.
This is crazy stuff.
That's not a very good run from Boss. But it is for Verstager. Pearl is in trouble. He's scared, trying to break the slipstream. Verstager snitching up the outside. Side by side. Boss is coming back with that. This is a lovely scratch. Till the end, till the very last lap. We're seeing people fight. And Boss trying to cut back underneath of Sander. On the inside of turn 3. Side by side. Verstager tried to hold on. Have the inside for the next corner. Switch back from Boss.
It's good
Doesn't
racing.
quite get the run. As Pearl is loving this fight.
Yeah, that
between
gives him
the
a
two
little
of
bit
them.
more breathing room with 2 laps
Yeah.
remaining in this race.
Oh,
Oh,
it's very close. Verstappen needs to lead space. He does.
Boss has looked
I don't think
fantastic
it's
around that
space
corner
that
all
he
race.
left.
Carries so much speed
I-
through.
Yeah. Oh, huge dive from Boss. And no, that doesn't make it. Contacting this. Boss is spun around.
Verstager is in a wall,
Yeah, Verstappen as well.
so the drama
Let's
was
secure
not
spare
quite
the P7.
finished.
And that makes Bastia go up to P8. As Verstappen is having trouble coming back on track. He's now.
Yeah, he's underway again. So Temenga now,
Yep.
1.5 off the back of Ligier. Ligier will not catch Warner. Williams has gotten away. See what Temenga can do. I think he'd be happy with P5, but P4 would be the cherry on top.
Yeah, but it's a very good result anyway. P5 starting from the back in a new car is very good for Tamenga. Gives him plenty of confidence, especially in the rain when the Mustang is quite tricky getting around slower corners. I think it's a pretty good result for him. And you can see the pace of Williams. 3 seconds in the last few laps, taken from ID. I promise I will get used to the right pronunciation of this name. I am very sorry, my friend, as Boss putting pressure on Baslier. Or the other way around. Yeah, it's Boss. As Ide comes around the final corner to take the win of the 60 minutes of Nurburgring. Fatch GT3
has looked very dangerous all season. Well, all 3 races. Has looked to have the pace. Finally has got his rewards. So comfortable P1 for Ide. Williams works his way up to P2. A very eventful race for him. Warner holds on for P3. That's a good performance from Warner. Temenga's taken P4, if my relative is correct. I've missed the move.
Yeah, that is right.
So it somehow has gained...
Check.
Yeah, Ligier has lost 3 seconds in that lap.
Baslier, yeah. Austin Baslier still fighting.
It's just a bit too much left to do for Boss. So Baslier will capitalise and move up into P8. Crazy eventful race. These wet races are always wild and bring the craziness.
Went to do gravel in the bottom part of the track in the hairpin of turn 8.
Boss has actually let Verstappen through on the line there, so I think Boss taking responsibility for the spin into that corner. Maybe he realises it was a dive bomb. It was a tough one because Verstappen also stayed very close on the inside, but it was a late move. I do understand why Boss may feel like he needs to give that position back. Either way, that's great sportsmanship. We love to see it. So yeah, wild one at the Nurburgring in the wet. Stewards can be very busy. I'd taken that huge P1. Williams trying to limit the damage. However, if those penalties come in, and he does get penalties, yeah, if you a lot of the grid is still pretty close. P5. Yeah, so you will see what happens. So the Temenga works his way up to P4. Fantastic drive for Temenga. Ligier P5. Van Voorst, tough race for him. Caught up in some incidents, down to P6 from P1. Pell, huge damage, did well to hold on to P7. Baslier, as always, just motors along. Takes P8 for Sturger, P9 after Boss hands back the position, finishes P10. De Guel P11, Hussein P12, Robert P13. Good performance from Cork as well, working his way up the field from the back of the grid. P14 for him. Evoril P15, Rutger 16th. Baz comes back to 17th from that massive crash, that spin into the wall. He'll be followed by Komos, Minderhood, Jay Francis, Bruce Ladva, Niels with the extra penalty at the end, and Drago, who did not start. So yeah, eventful 60 minutes at Nürburgring. Where are we next week, Wilson? Let's have a look at this calendar.
We will be at Donington, 60 minutes.
60 minutes. Good stuff.
On the 3rd of February.
Yep, so we'll see you all there. We have more GT4 action on Wednesday. It's a 2x20 minute sprint race. And that will be at the wonderful Brands Hatch. So we got the next 2 races being in good old Blighty in Britain. So we'll see you all there. Thank you for tuning in. Take care and speak to you all soon.